everybody. Welcome to Amazing You podcast and YouTube channels, the channels where stories of resilience, triumph, and unwavering hope come to life. And in each episode, we dive into the inspiring journey of individuals who have faced the toughest challenges heads-on and emerge victorious. Our aim is to be a beacon of inspiration, offering a guiding light to those navigating through difficult times. And whether today you are dealing with health challenges, professional setbacks, or personal struggles, this channel is dedicated to uplifting your spirit and showing you that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to hope and triumph. So join us, everybody, as we share powerful stories that transcend adversity, reminding you that resilience is a force within us all. So let's get prepared to be inspired and to find the strength to navigate life challenges. And I would like to welcome everybody, all the newcomers, welcome to the channel, and to those who have been following the channels for the past 3 years. I really appreciate you, and I thank you for your support, and thank you for sharing, subscribing, and for being part of it. I am your host. My name is Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am a clinical hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy method. I am a Mars Venus life and relationship coach, astrologer, tarot reader, life force compassion practitioner, past life regression practitioner, breathwork coach, and past life regression practitioner. And today, I am super excited to introduce you all to a very special lady all the way from Cyprus, the beautiful island of Cyprus. Her name is Helena Georgiou. Helena is the founder of BraveHeart. She is also an author, a transformational speaker, trauma and recovery practitioner, holistic therapist, herbalist, and a doTERRA wellness advocate. So let's welcome the wonderful Helena. Welcome, Helena, to Amazing You.
Thank you, dear Rani. It's such a pleasure. I'm so grateful to be here. Really an honor to have the opportunity to meet more people through sharing my story and being part of this incredible podcast, giving us an opportunity to share our voices and be heard, and the amazing power of resilience that we all hold within us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking your time to be with the audience, your precious time, because you're such a busy lady. I really value your time and your wisdom today, that I'm sure the audience will benefit from your experience. And let's dive into it. I'm super excited because your journey is a journey of resilience, of triumph. So Please share with us a bit about your journey and what led you to become a voice for the voiceless, Helena.
Sure, my pleasure. Well, my journey actually began in midlife. And what happened one morning, I woke up with a serious stiff neck, and due to my holistic practitioner knowledge and studies, I realized that it was something on an emotional level, because all our emotions are stored in our bodies. It's been proved through neuroscience. So I embarked on a deep journey within, a deep dive, to discover what was the meaning of this. And of course, many things unfolded through that. The neck, for example, is our support system. And I got involved with a clinical psychologist to help me go through the deeper layers, which is highly important when you embark on these souls of the dark night of the soul, shall we say, or go into your past life from childhood and things like that, because these serious traumas are often embedded in our childhood years. And for me, that was really true. So I started around 2015, 2016, and now a decade later, it's a total transformation. And I welcome you and your listeners to sit for the next 20, 30 minutes to hear how the power of hope, the power of prayer, forgiveness, and compassion can change one's life and create beautiful ripples of miracles and healing around, not only in our lives, but in those around us. So beginning the journey, it was very traumatic. A lot of things came up from my childhood because throughout my life as an adult, I always had this fear growing up as a teenage young girl and a young adult of being around men. I always avoided them, and I would never want them to give me a hug. Even my father, I never did this with him. It just didn't feel right. So I always wondered what that was. Most of my life, I suffered with a serious throat infection continuously. And often just thought, oh, it's tonsillitis and that's it. But it also came out that this is about our voice. The neck and throat is all connected. It's the bridge from our wisdom to the body, from the spiritual to the physical. So always having been connected to the divine and spirit and be very much into my prayers, I feel that was the most important part of my journey. This is where my deeper strength came in. It's through the power of prayers. So going through my childhood, my mother was very much busy with my younger brother because he was very sickly. So he took most of her time up, and I was left in the hands of my caretaker. And what happened was, obviously, I was mostly in his care, and my mom didn't realize anything at the time. I didn't either. But after going through years of clinical therapy and many different kinds of holistic therapies, because as a holistic practitioner and a herbalist, I've always turned to natural first because this is who I am from teenage years. I've always been attracted and close to Mother Nature. So I've always looked for the natural roots. And fortunately, that's helped me on my route and my journey. I'm not saying at all that that's the only way. Everyone's an individual. Everyone has their path to follow. But this was my story and my experience. There were times where I was diagnosed with depression and offered to go on, antidepressants, but I couldn't. There was just something in me always stopping me. But of course, all this trauma and these ups and downs in my life, not having stable relationships or healthy relationships with my first love, for example, I suffered with and experienced domestic violence and then ended their relationship eventually after he almost strangled me to death at the young age of 21. I had to get a court order against him. Growing up, I remember as a young child that I would be belted by my dad because I always had this voice of truth. I was always protecting my brother or my mother or speaking up, whatever I felt. And it got me into trouble. So I didn't think much of that. Obviously, there were some bruises. I went through my life just accepting that's how it was in those days. And when I dug deep in my midlife, because by then my children had graduated, so I had more time to focus on me. We sold our family business, so it all unfolds always in divine time, doesn't it? And it was a real roller coaster ride. I remember experiencing major releases through breathwork, which is a powerful therapy, and I highly recommend it to people that are feeling certain limitations within themselves or their lives or blockages and can't understand why. It's extremely powerful. I work with hypnotherapy in various different kinds, sound therapy. I work with ancient mantras, and basically yoga got me through a decade of also working with the body. mind-soul connection to heal. So I embarked wherever spirit led me, basically. I was just surrendering, but I had the right support. And this is what I want to reiterate, that we need the right support. Someone, a professional by our side, someone who listens, who understands, and can guide us in a gentle, supportive, understanding, non-judgmental way. Because there's a lot of life coaches around nowadays, and it can do a lot of damage to someone who's really suffering with major trauma. So what happened in 2023, I was offered to speak on stage and share my story. And this is where the big healing began, because in 2018, it came out and was revealed, and I was ready to speak to my mom about what had come out and what I'd experienced, and why I was always a girl biting my nails, and why I always had my sore throat, why I was fearful of men, and why even throughout my life. So it came out that I had been sexually abused by my father from a child. And it was a tough straw to have to deal with, because as children, we always look up to our parents. And this psychologically affects you and affects your relationships, because as a child, our brain, when we go into child psychology and child development, and I work with children now, it affects the growth and the way it functions, because children's brains are not physically built up and ready to deal with major trauma, major decisions. It's all about our parents are there, we love and respect them, and they're there to give us this love. So mentally, yes, I did suffer with a lot of PTSD. I've been on children's summits as well, speaking to help and about this with children and how they get affected. I'm part of the My Body program. It's a child worldwide program organization that teaches free programs for those interested to embark children on a journey of learning to say no, learning about healthy love, learning if something's not right to speak up, not to keep quiet, not to suppress it, because all these things up until the age of 10 affects the young child and eventually the adult, and affects relationships, affects self-esteem, so many things. It has such a knock-on effect. And it doesn't mean that it's totally healed. Things still come up, but once you've done the work and you've had the right professional support, you're able to be aware of the triggers, and there's less of them and they're more subtle because you've done the work and you've released. And this is what it's about. You've got to come from a space of love, work with your inner child, get that connection again, work with the child's wounds, the mother wounds, the father wounds. For me, for example, because of incest, the domestic violence part of it as well. In COVID, this is what inspired me to go deeper even, and to get out on webinars, podcasts, and TV shows, sharing my story, was because sexual abuse and domestic violence tripled 300% over that time. And that's when I knew it was time to get out and start sharing and inspiring and giving others hopes, those whose voices had been silent or had been silenced because they had no other option. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know who to turn to, because in my days, no one spoke about these things. It was one of those subjects where you just didn't talk about it. And in 2018, when I finally approached my mom, I went to South Africa. My family lived there. I'm here in Cyprus, and shared this story with her. She obviously was very shocked and surprised, but as a mother, we connected, and she was there supporting me. But the amazing thing was, through the bravery of me and the courage I had to share my story and transformational journey, her to open up and share her own trauma of her being gang raped at the age of 15 at a bus stop. And she had carried this secret for 60 years with her. So without me knowing that, my had opened a door for her. And then it kind of triggered many other family and people coming up to me, women, of course, mostly, sharing their little stories, some that are not ready to go public, which is okay. We all deal with things in our own way. And some that just have said to me, it's okay to share something or part of it. And it's great because when you take the courage and you step into that light, the divine is there supporting you, and it's helping others to step into their light in whatever way they are ready to. So I did that. It helped my mom to speak and share her truth. And she wanted to and was able to at this stage in her life, because she's now in her 80s. And she struggles with a lot of emotional issues and physical health issues because of depression, which happens to us. Physically, the body, it always comes through. The trauma is stored in our energetic bodies, from there into the emotional body, and from there into the physical. So it manifests in us. That's why the neck that I had, the physical symptom, I knew it was important to deal with, because our bodies talk to us. We just have to make time to listen to them. So the journey from that got me on stage in April 23 to speak about my story at an amazing event by Women of Truth here in Cyprus. We had women and people globally join us, and we were talking and sharing very different things, integrative health, different topics. And I was the first time ever on stage. So it was really kind of nervous, but also I felt so empowered. Like I had my ancestors with me. I had the love and support of these people, that I was being seen and heard for the first time in my life, that I was actually healing as I spoke and shared my story. I was being supported and held in a safe, sacred space. And I remember there were times I had to pause and stand and hold on to the podium for support, but I did it. And I truly encourage those who are maybe in a position where they're considering to go speak, go public. You choose where you want to speak, how you want to speak, what you want to share. No one's telling you what to do. But if you feel that calling, like I did, I knew in my soul, this is what it's about. This was my journey of going through this trauma into the triumph, transmuting my wounds into wisdom so I could inspire others, and working from the pain into my soul's purpose so that I could create a ripple effect of healing throughout the world. Here alone in Cyprus, talking statistics and numbers, 1 in 3 children are physically abused by someone they trust in their family. And we're an island of about maybe 900,000 people. So it's quite traumatic when you think in the past 4 or 5 years how things have increased. Maybe people are coming out and talking more about it, which is what we want and what's needed. After my speech, I got a lot of exposure and visibility. I was then working on a TV show, viewed over 65 countries. I got on a magazine cover as well. I got a special author interview for the Breaking the Silence, Voice of Survivors. This is the book where I wrote my chapter BraveHeart, hence the name of my company. And it's all about empowering those who have gone through some deep tragedy in their life, some painful experience. And trauma comes in different ways. It's not only sexually or domestic violence. It can be traumatic experiences through war, through an accident, through the death of a loved one. All these emotions affect us, whether we want to believe it or not. It can create anger and rage. It can create the opposite, where you start self-harming. And having worked with clients now for over a decade, through my journey as part of my practice, it's incredible to see how once you've done the work, you attract those who are ready to open up and they're ready to do the work, because your light attracts their light, and you're giving them the courage and the strength and the hope that they too can change their lives. But it's not easy. There's no shortcut. And this is what I want to make clear, is that there's no button like on the computer where we can press delete and it suddenly disappears. It takes a process, and we all work differently, and our traumas are all different. And for me, it's not about mowing the grass and just cutting the lawn. It's about digging deep into the soil and pulling the root out, so that pain, that suffering is gone finally. And that you're able to look forward now and say, wow, like I remember feeling a huge load, a huge baggage, as this darkness, this dark cloud that was always being carried around unknowingly, unawarely, was lifted. And I felt so light and so free. I worked through the process of forgiveness with my father, not in person, but on a spiritual level, on a psychological level. I did many different kinds of practices, and eventually, maybe a year or two ago, where I actually met him face to face and I could feel total compassion. Now, this is deep. This is what I'm saying, is that people who haven't been through trauma might not quite understand, but it happens where you can look into the eyes of your abuser or the trauma that you've experienced, that pain, that sadness, that grief, whatever it is, and you can find compassion and forgiveness. And this is what I want to share in the world, is that it's possible. The power of prayer, the power of supporting loved ones, the supporting professionals that are out there to help us, to have the courage to reach out to someone when you are ready, because no one can make you do it. You know, your soul calls you. It's a calling that you know you need to do it. And once you take that step, the people will come there to support you and it will unfold. Because I remember starting with my therapy and not having the money to pay. And my therapist was amazing. And she said, when you can, and this is what happens. And since then, my life has totally transformed. I'm financially successful, financially independent, beautiful relationships with my children, my amazing husband who's been by my side supporting me, and true friendships now, meeting people globally, online and also in person. Last year, I was invited to the Dubai Woman of Truth event where we once again spoke about the integrative health. We had men and women joining us from all over, and it was an incredible experience. Life's about. We're here as one, but unified together as one makes all the difference. Helen Steiner says, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much.
Wow, Helena, what a beautiful journey, a very painful journey. But when you came out of it, it's like a lotus flower blossoming again, you know. And thank you so much for sharing the things you've experienced, because I am sure the audience, many people who've experienced trauma would be able to relate to you, because while you were talking, it's like you were telling my story. Yeah. Because I have experienced as well sexual abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse. So it's been a lot on children, on whoever, wherever we are around the world, and these experiences as children, because as children we believe the people around us, they want our best, but they do their best with the little that they know.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and us, whenever things happen to us, what Dr. Gabor Mate used to say is, the children will never blame the parents. They will never blame the people around them. They will blame themselves. Mm. So we accumulated so much shame, so much fear, of speaking out, because it took me a long time to speak out. It took me like in my late 40s to start to realize the pain I was going through, because things were getting worse and worse in my life with carrying all these trauma, It doesn't make life easier. It makes life like living in a survival mode each day, fighting to survive. And I'm really, really happy that you shared your transformation, because going through that journey, and really another very important point you mentioned is finding a therapist that can understand you, because I know what it means to have therapists that don't understand you. Because they haven't been through those kind of trauma, and they don't understand when you talk about certain issues, and they get more upset rather than being compassionate. So it's very important to find people, therapists, who can relate to you, who have experienced similar journey, because trauma takes a while to heal. You know, there are so many layers underneath as you peel that onion. And it's very transformative, because in healing trauma, like you said, there is wisdom. It's transcending and finding the wisdom, finding the joy, the happiness when you transcend that trauma. And what a journey it's been for you. Wow. Yeah, it's so beautiful to see you now thriving, to see you happy, not only yourself, but the people around you as well. Sure. So I am really happy that you are here to share that journey, because there are still today, right now, as we are talking, there are people who are experiencing trauma, some are ready, some are not ready yet. Mm-hmm. And some of our listeners and watchers can be very young as well, listening to us today. Not everybody is in their 40s, and some would be very young. And what would you like to tell those survivors who are struggling with trauma, with shame, with fear of speaking out at a young age? What advice would you like to give someone who is watching and listening to us and feel trapped in silence?
Amazing question. Thank you. Yes. Well, I would say that they are beautiful, loving beings, and that no matter what they have experienced, even bullying is a form of trauma, that they are not to blame. That if they are harming themselves or feeling suicidal, I know those emotions. I know you can feel like you don't want to live, that you're not safe in this world, that there's no hope, nobody loves you, but you are so very loved. And you are so worthy of the happiness, all the happiness in this world, and so deserving of abundance, of joy and happiness in your life. Don't give up. If there's anyone, even just one person that you feel you can trust, turn to them, reach out to them. There's many support groups as well, but just express yourself. If you're unable to verbally sit and write it, that's the next tip I'd like to give. Writing is extremely powerful, and that helped me a lot in my journey, even before I realized what was going on in my life. In 1998, when I came to Cyprus, I used to sit and write, and still today I love writing. Now I have my book. What I want to say is self-blame, self-harm, these are all because of the traumatic experiences you have had, your emotions that have been suppressed, your voice that has been suppressed. If you can dance it out or sing it out or write it out, that's also good. Whatever positive way you can use it, if you swim or you're an athlete, know that transformation is possible, that there is hope, that you have a beautiful divine light within you. And even though it feels like it's dimmed, it's still there. And there are beautiful souls and people out there who really care, who really know the journey that you're on, like myself, like Dr. Rani. So reach out to us if you like. I'm happy to give a free call, connect with you and hear what you're going through and give you advice in whatever way possible. Reach out to me on my webpage, bravehearthelena.com, and know that you don't have to suffer in silence, that you have a beautiful voice and you deserve to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Helena. I'm sure this message is going to touch somebody who is in that place of where they don't feel there's anybody. They are trapped in that silence place, and that there is nobody that they can talk to. But there is always hope. There is always, where there is a will, there is a way. And thank you so much for sharing that. And can you tell us about, because you are the founder of BraveHeart, can you share with us how did the creation of BraveHeart come about, and what impact has it had on the women you serve?
Of course, certainly. Well, the name actually came up after I delivered my speech, the title. I knew there was something unique I was ready to birth. My speech was called Secret, Truth, and Tenacity. Tenacity meaning courage. So I spoke about that, and I used that in many of my articles that I got published, talking about courage. And then I had this divine inspiration, this download about BraveHeart. And I thought, wow, yes, we all have a brave heart. We have all done something brave in our lives, no matter how small it is. I know some of you could sit and think about school and getting up doing your school oral, or having to, maybe wear glasses at school that was so embarrassing, or have to experience something where you had to step into your bravery to speak up or protect a friend that was maybe getting bullied, or, have to tell someone that you love and care about, maybe a friend, that's something that, was painful that you might have heard from someone else, but you did it anyway because you care. And this is what it is. The most hated people in the world are the truth speakers, because truth, in my experience, creates an earthquake. It creates so much disruption. I saw this in my family. I mean, gosh, when I put the truth out and I told my dad, it was like all hell broke loose. And it took about a year for him to kind of talk to me occasionally, which is okay. We've never had a good relationship. But what I want to say is that was a brave thing to do, to actually face my abuser and actually say it. And however they reacted is their issue. This is what is the big turning point when it comes to trauma and abuse, is that it's not about them. It's all about you. It's the journey we're going on with the divine and our experience of that. Do we want to carry that hatred? Do we want to carry that anger? Do we want to carry that grief and pain? And when you are ready not to, there's ways to work through it. So this is where the bravery comes, because it's not for everyone. It's the brave ones that lead the way, that are able to speak up, are able to do that little gift of kindness, that random act of kindness for one person, maybe an old lady trying to carry her shopping groceries, anything. There's so many opportunities that we are given, and we are brave without even realizing it. You just step up and do it sometimes. And that's your inner bravery, the heart, where the pureness of you comes through your actions. Actions always speak louder than words. And this is what inspired me was, yeah, that's me. That's what I did. And I know there are many others who have done it. For example, to me, one of my inspiration was Maya Angelou, her story of how she broke through and wrote many books. It was very inspirational. Also had a lot of abuse and racism issues, and how she's written beautiful poems and spoken many amazing places worldwide before she passed, inspiring people to talk up and share and stand up for their rights. And this is what it is. If you have that one person, even Nelson Mandela, coming from South Africa, what he did for us there, and how he said the road to freedom is a long road, but it can be done. And I've done it. Dr. Rani has done it, and many out there have done it. So you can too. When you are ready, you will know, and you take that brave step and reach out to someone. It's all about small little steps. And yes, we go forward 5, we might come back 3, we go forward 2, come back 5. I've been there. It's a roller coaster ride, but it's all worth it. The light at the end of the tunnel is the freedom, the peace that you have been seeking, that was stolen, the joy that was stolen from you. And you can reclaim it and become the master of your life. It's all possible.
Thank you, Helena.
Yes, I've used that with women as clients, and I've seen amazing results in their lives. It's been a few single mothers that have come to me and worked with me, and they had to become financially stable because of their divorces, and how it took them through that trauma, finding their self-esteem, finding their stability, taking chances. And 2-3 of them have got successful business today. They opened them during COVID, and they've survived, supporting themselves and their child. So it's so much is possible when you reach out to someone, when you have someone by your side, when you step into your brave heart, when you break the chains that bind you.
Yes.
Yeah, you set yourself free.
Wow. How powerful. Thank you for those powerful words, Helena. And that is so true. We have a brave heart. To be on earth at this time, we are very brave souls, because the challenges, the experiences we live in this earth school, it's none like any other school that we've been, It's really teaching us the lessons, but we have to look back and learn the lessons, It's really learning from those lessons, making the changes, taking small steps. And there is a bright light at the end waiting for us. Yeah, because we are light. That's what we are. But with all the darkness that has surrounded us as we grow up, the conditioning, the outside conditioning, we have been like in a veil of illusion, a veil of darkness. But now it's about peeling that, to let our light shine. And you are such a great example, Helena. And it's beautiful to see how much you've transformed, and you are transforming women around you. And when you look back at that journey, as a child up to now, what is the biggest lesson, the biggest takeaway for you from that journey?
It would be that no matter what has happened in your past, you can change your future. We don't have to let our past define us. The things that we've experienced, that pain, that trauma, at the time, it feels like there's no possibility. It can never change. And we often ask why. Let's be honest here. I like to be truthful. I've done that many times. Why me? Why? But the whys don't give us the answers. It's when you say, I'm ready, show me the way. I'm trusting, I'm surrendering. And you just work with things day by day, literally. It's a day by day procedure. And that's where the miracles happen, because you're in the moment. You're allowing whatever's to come up. You're not judging. And that way you're able to peel away those layers. And this is what BraveHeart is about. It's about taking the clients through those dark, deep moments, however long they need, and then transforming those illusions of fear into the reality of truth, the truth of their being. The truth is that you are a beautiful soul, a being on this planet, here for a beautiful reason, to share a unique gift that only you have to share. And it takes bravery, and it can be done. There is proof beyond measure, love beyond measure, support beyond measure. We just need to reach out.
Yes, that's so true. Helena, we are coming towards the end of the podcast. It's went so fast. It's so enlightening talking to you and hearing from you, from your wise words and your knowledge, your experiences. Can you share with us what other than the book that you've written and the speaking engagement you've been doing, what other projects or initiatives are you currently working on?
Certainly, my pleasure. I'm very excited to say that I'm doing a women's circle at one of the sacred pilgrimage sites here in my local village, where the goddess Aphrodite actually did her pilgrimage. And it's bringing women together to remember their divinity, to heal the ancestral lineage of all this pain, suffering, trauma, and to reconnect and reclaim that sovereignty. That's going to happen on Women's Day on the 8th of March. I'm grateful and working with a wonderful soul to collaborate, because I believe this is what this year is about, is creating things together, blossoming together, sharing the joy, the happiness, the abundance together to create more and more for everyone. So I've done many women's circle in the past. I used to do full moon events and various different kinds. So this is really something new and very exciting. And I've also started doing womb healing workshops because of the abuse. Many women, as women, our wombs and uterus carry a lot of knowledge from our mother through to our grandmother, and it goes back 7 generations. Working with women who are suffering with any kind of woman issues, health issues, but also maybe some blockages in their relationships and their abundance, to work and clear that. So that's probably going to happen in April, May. I do my workshops. I'm working to do that online as well. I'm looking into that in the future, because there is a lot of unnecessary baggage and pain and suffering that we carry in our wombs as well. Most of the time unknowingly. So I've worked with that myself. I've experienced a lot of healing myself that way, and I'm excited to share that.
Wow. I'm so excited for you, for the great work ahead, for the projects you've got ahead. I wish you a lot of success, and I'm sure a lot of women will benefit from those sessions and those different circles, those different events you are organizing. And how can people reach out to you and stay updated with what you do, Helena?
They can do that by contacting me on my website, www.helenabraveheart.com, where they can connect to me. I'm happy to do a connection call of 20 minutes free to get to know you and see how we could work together. I would love to assist you on your journey in any way. And from there, it has my event page to see what's going on. You can read about my history, what I've done, what I'm doing, and where I'm going. And I would love to have your support on board and see how we could help each other and grow and transform even more together.
Thank you, Helena, for sharing your links and your website, so that anybody who wants to reach out to Helena, feel free to get back to Helena and start that journey of transformation. And keep shining your light, Helena. And thank you so much for today, for taking the time to speak to the audience, and for opening your heart, and for being brave and opening your heart, because I know it's not easy to do for a lot of people, but the more we open up, the more we speak up, the more freedom we experience, and the more healing we experience, because writing is healing, speaking is healing as well. So there are different ways to heal. So thank you, Helena. And any final words before we finish?
I would just like to thank you all for giving me this sacred space to open my heart, as you said, and speak my truth, words of inspiration for those who are ready to heal them and receive them in whatever way. Follow your calling, your heart, your guidance. It's never wrong. Trust yourself and know that our voice is a door to immense power. And once we're able to reclaim our voice, the words that we speak are very healing, very powerful for others, even just to listen. So step into your BraveHeart. It's time to shine. Thank you all so very much. I'm truly grateful.
Thank you. Thank you so
Rani.
much.
Thank you for this opportunity.
You are welcome.
Overflows with joy and gratitude.
Thank you. Same on my side. I'm very, very grateful for us meeting, for you sharing today. You know, it's like I could really feel everything you were saying, how genuine you are. I could feel it all throughout my body when you were talking. So I completely connect with everything that you said today, and know that you've experienced that. So thank you for being honest, genuine, opening your heart today. And thank you to the audience for watching, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll have another guest very soon. We'll be with you again. Take care, everyone. And remember that you are amazing. You have always been, and you always will be amazing. Bye-bye.